there. Welcome to Motorcycles
Was that
and Misfits.
Welcome to Motorcycle and Misfits.
Coming to you from the Recycle Garage in sunny Santa Cruz, California.
Tra-la-la.
Hey everyone, this is Liza, and summer is officially here. At least in Santa Cruz it is. Actually, I think everywhere it is. No, I know some parts of the country, they're buying groceries for the big storm, and others are hitting their air conditioning because it's like 85, 90 degrees.
Well, Phoenix, it's like 106.
It's
brain-melting hot.
Crazy. But it has been quite perfect here in Santa Cruz. What did you say?
It was a lovely day today. My sweetheart and I rode out wilder and on bicycles, and it was rather nice, rather pleasant.
And that would be the dulcet tones of Neal.
Hey there, moto people.
And of course, holding her guard on the classic go couch, which I notice has many tears in it, and you're the only one who sits there. What have you done?
I've been biting it. No, I mean, whenever I get frustrated, I always smash up the furniture. I can't help it. It goes back to my childhood.
Are you sure it's not the Vindaloo?
It may be the Vindaloo. In fact, it's funny you should mention Vindaloo. I just plowed through some very spicy lamb Vindaloo. Nobody else would touch it.
You should have seen the scene. It was a crime scene she created. She managed to get it on her face and her chin, which then somehow transferred it to her tits. And when informed of such spreading of Vindaloo, she just nodded and kept eating and spreading it everywhere.
Yeah.
So are we talking like a Gigi Allen vibe?
Well, the best foods are messy, so
it was completely delicious. The only thing missing was a gin and tonic, but of course, riding the old motorbike, one shouldn't drink anything. Tra-la-la!
I got roofied last night.
I heard about this.
I went out to a very fancy dinner with a friend.
Was it fancy schmancy or just fancy?
Oh, no, it was schmancy.
Okay.
But it was a interactive thing with art and projections on the table and food, and you had to paint your food with brushes and sauces, and it was this whole thing inspired by different artists. It was a fun evening thing.
Okay.
But I don't drink alcohol, and so they had a whole list of mocktails, of which I chose one that looked really nice. And I was like, when they're popping the cork on the bottle, I'm like, oh, they use sparkling cider instead. How cool. Not knowing that they had the alcoholic version of the drink, and she didn't specify it was the mocktail version. So they gave me an alcoholic drink that I slugged away. And my dinner companion, who's an Indian man who's vegetarian and doesn't drink alcohol, also got roofied.
Oh, no!
With the same miscommunication of they made two drinks with the same name, and you had to specify you wanted the mocktail version. And so we both were like, oh,
so
boy.
That was going to be my next question. Do you feel it was an honest mistake, or do you think that she was trying to get into your
No.
trousers?
It was an honest mistake, but poor planning in that they had the same name of drink in both columns. Right. And you didn't realize, you have to specify which one.
As a non-alcoholic drinker, I mean,
I didn't get sick, so that's good.
I was going to say I'm completely the opposite. If I go out for an evening and there isn't gin involved, I feel most peculiar. Whereas for you, did the alcohol have any effect on you? Did you get a little lightheaded?
I felt flush, like I had a fever coming on, where you start to feel hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll do that.
Just from champagne.
It warms the gullet.
Anywho, another wonderful day in the garage
hang on,
today.
I'm going to stop you there.
What?
Did we introduce?
Oh,
yes.
Well, saving the best for last.
There, tra-la-la, shoveling.
Because he's in front of something incredible.
Yes.
It is Bagel.
Hello. Recently returned from Bellingham, Washington, with a A dream completed, you might say.
Well, I would say a bowl of chicken pesto is a dream to many people, but you haven't quite completed it yet, Bagel.
I'm still working on that.
Okay, very good.
But the trip to Bellingham was complete, and that was to buy the rickshaw back that came off of my Vespa three-wheeler that I picked up over 2 years ago.
And it is quite spectacular. I'm looking at it now via the wonders of Videoscape, and it's absolutely splendid.
Yes, it is. It is hand-built, hand-painted. In fact, I will give a shout out to Akram Rashka, the body maker from Pindi, and Imtiaz, the artist who painted it. Because their names are on the back of it right there.
Now, I don't want to get into details for people who can't actually see this thing, but the only mystery to me, and I can't quite tell, I'm kind of squinting, there's a bridge that's painted, or a tower.
Yes.
In the shape of a bridge on the back, and eyes above it. Are those the taillights just below?
So yes, those are the original taillights from the Vespa that are built into the handmade rickshaw body.
I mean, it is absolutely gorgeous. The colors are so vibrant.
It's amazing.
When are you reuniting it with the chassis?
Well, hopefully in the near future. I don't know exactly when, because I wanted to get the engine back in there and get it all, get the mechanicals sorted and running first, so I don't need to take the body off again. But once I get it on and then get all the paperwork done at the DMV, which I hope to do in the next month or two, and once that's all sorted out, then I'm going to put the body back on and be able to drive it around.
Dude, I'm so jealous because I remember when you got this.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, they kept the body because they wanted to make it like on display or something. And you settled for the chassis only.
Well, yeah. I mean, I wasn't gonna turn down a Vespa three-wheeler, you know. I mean, they're pretty rare. So
right, but you just kind of sat on it because there wasn't a lot you can do, and you held out and you waited.
Yeah.
And it paid off.
Yep, indeed.
That is called playing the long game.
Yep. And I'm really, really excited because this is quite possibly the only one like this that exists in the United States.
Can I ask what that cost you?
The rickshaw back, I got it for $750 plus another $200 for the 200 and change for the trailer, and then the gas and all that.
But the body, how much did they charge you for it?
For the body was $750. The three-wheeler was, I think I paid $1,800 for that.
Oh.
And and then the gas.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. Oh, it was. I mean, it was a very good deal, and it's basically brand new. It's hardly been driven because it's never been registered here.
Dude,
it's never been registered. Period.
Dude, you're gonna be the hit of the scooter rallies.
If I can get it there, it's not something that I'm going to be able to ride to anywhere from here because it has a top speed of maybe 35 miles an hour.
Well, no, I think it's ideal. You just have to go quite slowly.
Well, yes, but all the roads between here and anywhere are at least 55 miles an hour, so it's going to have to travel on a trailer to get somewhere.
Remember, we're talking Oregon here. Lots of wide open space in his neck of the woods.
Details, darling. No, I think it's absolutely splendid. It really is. It looks. It's an amazing looking thing.
Yeah.
Liza, if Bagel takes a photograph, can we include a photograph of this thing in the show notes?
No, not tonight.
Okay, very good. Not tonight, so people are going to have to wait for the...
You got to wait. Yeah, I want to see this thing together.
I'd like to see it whole, I got to be honest with you.
Yeah,
all right,
I
very good.
So going back to a great day in the garage today, helped some people, did some things. Had a young man come by. I didn't tell you this. Had a young man come by today, and he's the type of person, partly why I do the garage. And it's a little bit cringeworthy in that I used to be that person, that young person who couldn't afford to pay a mechanic to do stuff. So you just go as long as you can and make try and find the cheapest version. But so he's riding a CBR 600RR that he got a year ago cheap because it had been crashed.
Okay.
And so it's got missing a lot of the plastics, and he's bought like plastics and keeps trying to like patch it, and bought the cheap Chinese plastics, which fell off. And it's been a process. But in the meantime, when he pulled up today, he's like, hey, I'm looking for cheap tires. He's got bald tires. I'm talking like smooth. His whole front wheel's smooth. I'm like, well, I mean, go online and shop. That's what everyone does. Or you can go to whichever mechanic you want to change them and just order it from them. They usually give you a discount on the labor to change it. It's up to you. But if you want to buy some and change them here, you're welcome to. Well, he goes, I was looking, it's going to cost like $500 for tires. I can't afford that. I was wondering, does anyone sell used tires? I'm like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to buy used tires. It's not really a thing. Anyone selling used tires, they're usually aged out, or they're race tires that are slicks and aren't going to be good for the street. You're going to have to buck up. But if you want to get cheap tires like Shinkos or something, I mean, that's perfectly fine for riding around. And then I noticed his slack chain.
Oh, no.
He's like, and I'm like, yeah, what about the chain? He goes, yeah, I've extended the adjuster as far back as it'll go.
Oh, no.
I'm like,
disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah, you need to do your chain and your sprockets. I said, you're probably looking at like $250 for that. So I can't afford any of that.
Oh, poor
I'm like,
kid.
yeah, but here's what you're risking. If that chain snaps, it can take out your foot, leg, or your engine case. It's a big risk to take.
Yeah.
And those tires, you're at that point where, I mean, you could easily lose traction and slide out. And again, you're taking big risks for hundreds of dollars.
Right.
So I said, tell you what, I'll make you a deal. You want to earn some money? You show up here on a Sunday, a nice little tight t-shirt and shorts. I'll hand you a hose and a bucket and some soap. And I guarantee you there's going to be people who will take you up on your offer to wash their bike for $40, $60, whatever. And you can easily make a few $100 in one day. I don't know. I don't know.
I think
I have a job, and I'm like, dude, like, I don't want to say that this is a certain generation, but I was like trying to like get it through to him. There's no shortcut. You're going to have to pay for this stuff. Your safety is depending on this. And I'm giving you an option, because I would have had him wash a couple of my bikes right then and there.
Right.
But this, I don't know, like, I'm like, I don't know how else to help him. He wanted something simpler and cheaper than that.
Yeah, and when it comes to that kind of stuff, there's no corners to be cut. And tires are expensive. I mean, the reality is, if you want a couple of decent tires like Michelin's, like Pirelli's, good tires, ride into a shop, get the tires fitted, ride home, you're going to be about $700-800 later. That's how much tires are these days.
Yeah, well, and that's why I said, if you want a shop to do it for you.
Yeah.
But hey, you can come here.
Yeah, there's money to be saved. You can do it for free here.
But you have to figure out how to transport your tires.
Yeah.
And you got to take your dead tires with you.
You do the Michelin Man thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, you donut them.
So I'm like, well, look, I'm giving you options. If you want them, they're there. So I hope he takes me up on it or finds a way.
Did he leave in tears?
No.
So, quick thing about you can take your used tires to the Buena Vista landfill. They have a diversion area for them.
Yeah,
most every landfill will take tires for you. The trick, though, because I whenever anybody has tires fitted at my shop, I always say, okay, I'm going to give you an option. California charges me $5 a tire to dispose of your tires. You pay me that, and I'll dispose of your tires, add them to the shit collection. And then, I get a guy come over and when I've got about 40 of them, and he takes them all away, and then everything's good. Or I say you can take them to the dump yourself. The only problem is, if you take them to the dump, they're only going to charge you $2 a tire, which is great. But they're going to charge you $20 for a temporary license to dump them.
What? Oh. Not at our dump.
No, but the one in Monterey. So you pay your $20. Now you've got a license to dump tires for the day.
Yeah.
$2 a tire. So they socket to you up and down.
Have you ever been to our dump?
No.
I'm gonna make a claim here. Back me up, Neal.
Is this the one on DeMayo Lane?
That we have the finest dump in all the country.
Because it's in quite picturesque area, isn't it?
It's up Highway 1.
Yes.
Up the hill with views of the ocean. Mm-hmm. It is a little canyon they're filling in that used to be a racetrack.
A motorcycle racetrack.
And it's beautiful. And it's lined, it's festooned with surfboards everywhere. Like lining all the fences and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And they're so nice. Plates. I went up there with a bunch of just stuff, some motorcycle batteries, light bulbs, a bunch of stuff in the back of my car. And he's like, go ahead. Didn't charge me. Go ahead.
So this is City of Santa Cruz for you. For
City of Santa Cruz, yeah.
I'm in county, so I go to Buena Vista. But it's
very
also
nice,
pretty chilled.
Not as nice as the ocean views.
That is true.
From the Santa Cruz dump. Just wanted to humble brag. Oh, we got a cool dump.
Okay. Better than taking a cool dump, I suppose.
Oh.
Maybe. I don't know. None of those for me after the lamb vindaloo, I'm afraid. Hot dump.
Ouch.
Speaking of hot dumps.
Come on, ice cream.
We got the Misfits rally coming up.
That is a hot dump of mess. Are you coming down for it, Bagel?
I am not going to be able to make it.
Oh, no. You crushed me. Bagel, I'm crushed.
I'm sorry.
Crushed.
I have other commitments.
There's no reasoning with me. No reason.
Life will go on, my dear.
No, it won't. Oh, Bagel.
We'll see him at the one show.
Yeah,
we'll get our squeezes in. But for anyone else, if you're interested in coming to the Misfits Adventure Rally Volume 4, it is April 16th through 19th.
Yes.
At Hollister Hills.
Yes.
And it is for everyone.
We mean everyone. The thing is about the garage, if you were to sum up our mission, our mantra in one thing, everyone is welcome. Everyone is welcome here at the garage. We don't ask questions. We don't care where you've been. You are welcome here. And it's the same with our rally. You are welcome.
Well, it's not even just that. We've got a hard adventure ride. We've got an easy adventure ride.
We've got a road ride. And we've got dirt biking. In fact, when I say anyone can come, Michael, who was at the garage today, I just gave him a bunch of my dirt biking gear because he wants to come. Michael has one leg and rides a Sur-on. And he can attend the rally and have fun and ride around Hollister Hills on his Sur-on. It's literally, there's something for everyone. Do you have children? You can bring them too. It's family friendly.
We can tie them to
Liza. No.
Jason
no.
And Megan's kids.
Well,
tie them all together so they can no one can wander too far away.
Yeah, but no, there's going to be lots of little children there. It's very family friendly. It's a great weekend scene. And
the facility is really nice too.
There's actually hot showers.
Yeah.
Normally when I visit a campsite, I don't shower, and I'm very worried about going to the toilet as well. So I get quite stinky out because the weekend.
Very well made.
Not so at Hollister. The showers are great. The restroom's great. Everything's great.
Yeah. Do you have full catered food and drinks and besides that, so you don't have to bring any of that stuff, just your basic camping gear?
I think
and
the other Brother Barbecue's doing the barbecue again, and they
were great.
Brother Bear.
Forgive me. And they really step up. And occasionally I'll make some breakfast burritos, which are very nice.
No, you're not anymore. We got a caterer. You're off the hook. Misfitsrally.org.
Yes.
You can find information and you can sign up.
Yes.
Come to our rally for a good time. And if you're lucky, Emma might show you her tattoo.
Hello.
Lucky, as the case may be.
Hello, Felix.
So,
oh, look what the cat dragged in.
I want to get to tonight's subject. In fact, it ties in with the rally because our friend Michelle attended the rally last year on her Honda Rebel.
Yep.
Yeah. And when I say anyone can attend, there's something for everyone. I wanted to talk about the Honda Rebel, and I wanted to first preface and say why.
Why, darling? Why?
So I've never liked the Honda Rebel, I will admit.
Shame on you.
And my first experience, the first time I ever saw one, I'm going to admit, I regret that I was an ass. And I was on a CB750, which is kind of a large bike. And there was a woman on this tiny little bike next to me. And I looked down there and said, who makes that? Hot Wheel? Like, I just like, what is that thing? Because it's like,
get a real bike.
It's like 7/8 scale. It's like tiny. I'd never seen anything like that before.
Mean.
I was mean. And I will admit,
bad, Liza.
styling wise, to me, and I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings, it just to me looked like a poor carbon copy of a Harley.
And I think you're missing the point.
We'll get to it. I know. I've come around. I'm just saying.
Well, good.
This was my perspective.
This is what's called evolution, both in motorcycles and in ourselves.
But I thought it looked a little tacky.
Yeah, right.
And I've just never been fond of it.
Okay.
And then when the new Rebels came out,
yes,
the 300 and the 500, they look weird.
Yes.
They're weird looking. And
they are distinctive.
But
do you expect a bike called the Rebel to look normal?
But here's the thing.
Exactly.
Even if it does not suit my taste, I applaud something different and unique. So I liked them out of the box because they weren't like anything else.
Right.
And they've been growing on me more and more. And when I see them now, I'm like, I like that. I like that.
And I tell you what, I actually owned a Rebel for 4 days. And I tell you what, very handsome bike.
They've grown on me. And I've come to realize so many of those original Rebels from the 80s, they're still going. And there are people who love them.
Yes.
And this is obvious because the resale prices.
Yes.
They've never really gone down.
Nope.
Like their rock bottom is still higher than similar bikes. I'm talking like Rebel is now still probably the same price as like a Versus. You know, you can probably find a $2,000 Versus, and that's still what they're going for.
And it's interesting that their peers, or should I say their competitors, have all fallen by the wayside in terms of value.
The Virago 250.
Yes.
The Suzuki GZ 250.
Jizz bomb.
And the Virago Yamaha Suzuki Kawasaki Eliminator?
Yeah, they did an Eliminator
250.
Yeah, and a 125. Quite a rare bike. And I'm going to, you know what? Because it goes back far enough, I'm going to throw in the Yamaha Exciter.
Oh, yeah.
In there as well, the Exciter.
So they've grown on me a lot, and I've come to respect the line.
Yes.
Through the years, and add to that some things that you have told me about them.
Yes.
So I thought, why don't we take this show to talk about why the Rebel 250 is cool?
No, well, we're going to talk about why Rebels, just because...
the Honda Rebel line.
The whole Rebel
is cool.
The Rabble.
So...
Yes.
That would be the plural. Rebel.
So let's just get some of the basics. The Honda Rebel CM2 250, CMX 250.
Yes.
First came off the line in 1985.
We're going to go back a little bit further.
Okay.
We're going to go back, actually...
85 was a long time ago.
No, we're going to go back further than that.
Okay.
We're actually going to go back to late 70s. Actually, we're not. We're going to go all the way back to 1976.
Okay. Wait. So 1976, you've got the CB 750.
No.
But I'm saying the bikes were pretty large at the time.
The bikes were pretty large. And Kawasaki were really the first ones to put a name on it. I could go back even further, but for our purposes today, we're going to start at 1976.
Okay.
And Kawasaki had a very, very nice bike called the KZ900, which was known as the Z900 in every other market.
Is that the one a lot of people were drag racing?
Yeah, and
it was a hot ride.
Yeah, it was a Z1.
Yeah.
But by 76, it was the Z900. And it'd been around for 5 years. It had been around for 3 years. And most everyone was happy with it. But Kawasaki always eyed America as an untapped market. And so they said to themselves, what happens if we make a bike specifically for the American market?
This is something I've never thought about. When you're like, I was this years old when I realized cruisers are American.
Right. So,
like, no other country introduced a cruiser. It's always come from America, right?
Well, it's always come from American market.
Yeah,
they were sold worldwide. So back in 76, Kawasaki introduced the KZ900 LTD. This is really considered the granddaddy of the cruiser bike. There were ones before. Suzuki famously turned the Titan into the Cobra and turned really a sporty 500 into more of a beach cruiser 500.
Yeah, I totally forget. The LTD
and that happened
line
in the 60s.
The LTD 440 was a great bike.
But we're starting with the granddaddy of them all. By the late 70s, pretty much everybody had jumped on the bandwagon as far as cruisers went. Sometimes they were called LTDs.
When you say everyone, you're talking around the world?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay,
these things were sold world over. Yamaha had the US Custom Series, starting with the XS650. Kawasaki continued with the LTD. Suzuki had the Limited. So you could buy the GS750 Limited, you could buy the GS850 Limited, you could buy the GS550 Limited, and that was their line. And Honda had their customs. Now, in order to appeal...
All right, CX500 Custom.
Right.
They just, the same bike, the CB900 Custom. Right.
There you go. And that was their take on the LTD. So the genesis of the Rebel, when we go back, Honda had these rather nice little 3-valve bikes, which in Europe were called the Dreams. But here in America, they're called the Hawks. Or if you came from London and you drop your H's, it was the Honda Hawk. The Hawk. So, but they were a bit tall. So Honda said, okay, well, let's turn this into more of an American-style cruiser. We'll model it on the LTD Kawasaki. So we're going to put a step seat, get the seat down, put big bars on it. And instead of calling it the CB, we're going to call it the CM. And in America, it was just CM400. But...
So, and just to be clear, was this for the American market or was this for the global market's American trend of cruisers?
There you go.
Okay.
The second one. Because cruisers were a big thing in the 70s worldwide. Worldwide. Very easy bikes to ride. Because you've got big bars, you can push them around a bit, lower seat. But that's genesis.
I've never really thought about this too. When you go back decades and decades, brands that have been around, BMW, been around a long time. Right. Harley Davidson, been around a long time. Yes. Indian, they all kind of started out somewhat similar. When you look at very old BMWs,
Yes,
they're similar to like a Harley or anything. But then, where did that split?
Yeah, but it's like the closest you can, the closest, I guess. Think of a family.
Yeah.
Think of a family of 5 brothers.
Okay.
All right, and they all have a similar childhood. Brother number 1 goes off and becomes a cowboy.
Mm.
Brother number 2 goes and lives in the Alps. Brother number 3 does long distance running in Germany. Brother number 4 goes and lives in little old England. And when you revisit them 20, 30 years later, they're all going to be very different because of the environment.
And their wives and children, their family as well.
Their home environment. And so it is with motorcycles. Motorcycles started off as evolutions of bicycles.
Mm-hmm.
And so they started off basically with the same DNA. But each country demanded a very different experience for its bikes. So the bikes became different. America's always had these big distances to cover. So big, high, wide handlebars that are comfortable, lower seats, higher gearing so that the bikes were loafing along and capable of these longer distances. That's always been the American way. And if you think about it, that's what was emulated with the custom bikes. So anyway.
So we go from the customs.
So now we've got the CM series. 400 in America, 250 in England and elsewhere in Europe.
Every now and then a CM 400 will show up here.
This is Genesis for the Rebel range. And it really forms the very earliest DNA for the Rebel range. Now, we come to 1985. And the mid-80s were the absolute peak of cruiser. That's when cruisers were absolutely at their most popular.
Mm-hmm.
Cruisers outsold everything else in America 2-1 in the mid-80s. Yes, there were people who were buying the Cafe Racer bikes. Yes, there were people who were buying FJ 1100s. There were people who were buying Gixxers. There were people who were buying, KZ 1000s. But the majority of riders, especially entry-level riders, were very interested in the cruiser market. And so Honda decided, we want to have an entry-level cruiser that is incredibly easy to ride, incredibly easy to manage, and it's just going to be a great ridership experience. We're going to put people on this Honda.
So, according to the September 1985 issue of Motorcyclist magazine,
yes,
in reference to the Rebel 250, it was stated, by targeting the bike to a young audience, such as those who watch MTV, Honda hopes to attract newcomers and expand the motorcycle market. And then it specifically said, Honda is not marketing this motorcycle as a woman's bike.
Right.
Like they had to specify that because it very quickly became a favorite amongst women and other shorter statured riders.
Well, it's not just shorter statures. Yes, women have got a slightly shorter stature, less upper body strength. So you actually want something that's lightweight, easier to manage, just generally a nicer experience. Because guess what? If you have a good experience on your first bike, not only are you going to stick with motorcycling, you're going to say to yourself, you know what, Honda made this damn good little bike. Let's go up the Honda range. And we're going to explore that a little bit as we get through the history. The CMX250 was actually a direct development from the CM250. We already talked about that from the late 70s, early 80s. So it was a natural progression. They got a lot of the weight out. They got a lot of the height out of it. They got the weight and the height out of it. And that, I think they cleaned up the styling quite nicely myself. It's a neat style little bike. So there we are.
So some interesting things about that Rebel 250. It was known for having the best fuel consumption, averaging 52 to 62 miles per gallon. The 96 Rebel had the best fuel economy, 62.6 miles per gallon.
And that was through constant refinement. The way they did that, they actually pulled a trick out of a car book. Because remember, Honda are very, very good at making cars as well as motorcycles. And the mid-80s, of course, were firmly in the land of carburetors. Fuel injection for motorcycles was years away. So we have a carbureted motorcycle. And when I talk about pumper carburetors, what a pumper is, it's a separate pump that when you open up the throttle, you get a squirt of neat fuel straight down the venturi of the carb. And we tend to think of that as a performance upgrade.
Yeah, it's a performance upgrade on like the DRZ 400, a common one.
But it's not always a performance upgrade. It can be an economy upgrade. How can this be?
What?
The reason it can be an economy upgrade is because you have a pumper carburetor on it, and the pump fulfills the needs of a very, very specific rate throttle opening. You can actually put a tiny, tiny carburetor on a relatively large engine. So if you actually have a look at the carburetor on a CMX 250 on a Rebel, it is very, very small. It's like a 125cc sized carburetor. Tiny little thing. It's like 18 millimeter or 20 millimeter. It's tiny. But it can fulfill the needs of the engine because of the accelerator pump. That when you open that throttle and it demands the air-fuel mixture, the pump can deliver it. But in normal riding conditions, the engine's being fed by this tiny carburetor. So accelerator pump carburetors, pumper carbs, and yes, are known for performance, but they're also very, very helpful in very high economy situations where you can put a tiny carburetor on. So there you have it.
Oh, and I just found a note. We also forgot to mention the Honda Twin Star.
Well, the Twin Star was an interesting... It's, again, a very early factory custom. It's a 200cc bike, a development of the Bentley. Charming little bike to ride. The Bentley was really a commuter bike. Very, very ordinary looking bike, but very loved by its owners.
So you want to hear another interesting fact about the Rebel 250? It'll make you go, well, that's cool.
Go on.
Starting in the early 80s, the Metropolitan Police Department in Washington, D.C. used them as police bikes.
What did they replace?
Bagel, you want to take a guess what the Rebels replaced?
I am going to guess that they replaced scooters.
Vespas!
Yep.
Yeah.
You have a fleet there.
Yeah, how crazy that the police were, yeah.
Yeah.
I lived there till 76, but I don't remember seeing that. But, so they went from Vespas to Rebels. And then they were replaced with
Kawasaki
Sportsters.
Oh,
what
wow.
a weird arc for the police department to go from Vespas to Rebels to Sportsters.
And it's quite strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know. So we have to give an honorable mention to the very rare CMX 450.
Yep. So the CMX 450 is a very, very interesting model. Very, very low production run. It only lasted 2 years.
86 and 87.
Not a particularly popular bike. Very interesting bike to ride. They are quite quick. Not particularly refined. Very much styled in the Rebel style. Very interestingly, it was one of the first spoke wheel tubeless tire bikes. In fact, I think it might have been the first.
Really?
Even before BMW.
Oh, long before BMW.
So, and I believe that there's a direct relation to like the CB400T and this Rebel 450 engine.
Yeah.
Like same engine.
Yeah, pretty much the same engine.
Yeah.
Honda have monkeyed around with various configurations for twin-cylinder bikes for a long, long time. And the CMXs were basically 2-valve engines. The CMs were 3-valve. They had 2 intake and 1 exhaust with a pent roof combustion chamber. But the CMX, they went back to a far simpler engine. A lot easier to work on as well. Those 3-valve engines were very, very complex for what they are. They had balance shafts, they had balance chains, they cam chain. It used what I call a HIVO, which was a multi-link chain. The CMX was a lot more conventional engine, a lot more user-friendly, and a lot more durable, I have to say. It's not without faults. I mean, it does have its faults.
Well, and didn't you say this was a flagship model?
So it's a world model. And the thing is, if we scrutinize the Rebel 250, so let's for now just focus on the Rebel 250. It's the far most common one. I mean, we now know there's a 450. Did you know there was a 125 Rebel as well?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, in other markets, yeah. But if we just scrutinize on the 250 Rebel, this is a world bike. This is a very, very important bike for Honda. And we tend to think of it through the lens of American eyes that it's a starter bike. This is a bike you buy, you keep for a short while, and then you move up to something larger. And that's simply not the case in other markets. The analogy I used for you, Liza, was a Toyota Corolla.
Yeah.
One of the most common cars that Honda ever made.
Every continent, right?
Right.
Toyota.
And in America, a Toyota Corolla, this is your first car. It's a cheap car. It's a beat-em-up car. This is your first car. In other markets, particularly Asia, that is an aspirational car. You can spend your whole driving life working up to owning a Toyota Corolla. And it's designed specifically for a world market, knowing that the car will mean different things to different people within the world. And so it is with the Rebel. Honda understood that the Rebel had a very, very broad appeal throughout the world. And different markets would regard the bike very, very differently. Yes, in America, it's a starter bike. It's an entry-level bike. It's very charming. People do fall in love with them and decide to keep them. But in Asia, this is an aspirational bike. This will be your last bike. You buy a Honda Rebel, that's it, you're done. This is the finest bike you will ever likely own in your life, and you're going to keep it. And some of the limited edition versions they made of it within the genre really reflect that.
So I've been researching. There's some mixed information about the production years. I'm just getting more information. If you look at our good friend Wikipedia, Wikipedia says that it was produced from 85 to 87, gap, and then 96 to 97, and then a gap, then 99 to 2016.
No, that's not entirely true. There are some fill-in points. It wasn't in complete production. And that was simply based on market demands.
Yeah. So what I'm finding as I'm doing some research is, one, it became highly in demand for riding schools.
Yes.
So they're still in use. Those old 250s, which were unchanged for like 31 years, still in use today. And so I think that the market got flooded quite often with those. And there was even some reports here that because of the economy, there was enough supply that lasted for like the next 2 years. So their production ended, but they were still available.
Right.
For, to buy. It's kind of interesting how that works. I mean, I have to imagine they can crank out tons of those. Something that is making that long.
It's largely unchanged. I mean, yes, there was incremental changes throughout the years, but it was mostly based on cosmetics. Like I said, the bike is not without faults. The gear shift is very, very susceptible to accident damage, and it's quite poorly engineered. It has a very, very special bolt that holds the actual gear shift pedal itself on, and it's quite easy to break. And if you fall off on the left side of the bike and tear off that gear shift bolt, you need a proper one. Over the years, I've tried to fabricate stuff because I work on a lot of the school bikes, and they simply don't want to wait for the Honda part, which is expensive and is always hard to get. So I've tried to fabricate, and there really is no substitute. You can usually get people down the road until the Honda one arrives. But then I've got no wish to have $10, $40 bolts in stock, so the clutch is interesting on them. They have designed the clutch in such a way to be very, very user-friendly. In fact, it's almost impossible to stall one.
Oh.
The downside, they can be quite hard to find neutral. And if you're the kind of rider who wants neutral at every traffic light, Honda Rebel, you have to hunt around for it. And that's the downside of the clutch design. You can actually fix it, but you lose it by fixing that problem. A lot of the internal drag in the clutch, which causes the problem. You tend to lose a lot of its user-friendly nature. What else? Starter clutches are getting a little bit weak these days. That's a problem mostly for the schools because they hit the starter so often. For a regular user, I don't think it's going to be a huge problem, but I do a lot of starter clutches in those bikes. Very predictable. They honk at you like a goose, and they start honking and get more and more honky, and eventually when you press the button, there's a big honk and no spinny.
I don't think you're allowed to use that word anymore.
Honk?
Honky.
Honky. Okay. Different kind, darling.
So, 2016.
Yes.
31 years.
Isn't that wild?
The Honda Rebel.
And if you look at a 2016 and an 85, it is clearly the same bike.
What?
No, it's clearly...
Oh, 2016, but not the 2017.
No, we'll talk about that.
So, 2016, they announced would be the last year.
Yes.
Of the Honda Rebel.
Yes.
The carbureted, the rear drum brake, the
rear drum brake on the back.
I mean, just the simple bike was going away. The beloved 250 to be replaced with the 300.
Well,
but not like when you get when they redid the KLR. It's not that different, right?
No, this was
extremely different.
Well, because once again, you need to understand the Rebels market within the world. And they had to make a world bike. So everybody thinks, okay, so America's important and Asia's important. But Europe's important too. And they needed to build a bike that was going to get through Euro 4 emissions, which are not just their emissions, their noise regulations. They're very, very stringent. So it had to be liquid cooled because liquid cooled bikes are quieter than air cooled ones. Right, Bagel?
Yes.
It had to be fuel injected because the old carbureted bike, even with a high efficiency carburetor, it simply wasn't going to pass emissions. And it had to be a little bit cheaper to make as well. So they shifted production from Japan to
Brazil?
China.
Oh.
Thailand for Don't they also build?
They also build them in Thailand, but the 300s are built in China.
Wow.
And they're nicely built. So before we say, "Oh God, it's made of Chinesium,"
well, and look, I've been, like I said, in the Honda factory in Pakistan, where they send people from Japan to oversee to make sure it meets the standards.
Right.
Same would happen in China.
Right. So, would you like to know? I would say it's an opinion, but would you like to know a dirty little secret about the 300 Rebel?
Sure.
I don't think it's a Rebel.
What?
Yeah, I don't think it's a Rebel because they did it.
It's a conformist, you're saying?
So the secret is your opinion?
No, I don't think it's. I really don't think it's a Rebel because
based upon what?
It's not a twin.
Oh, it's a single. So that raises a question: Is that motor similar to the CRF 300?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all that family. It's the CBR 300, CRF 230. It's all that line of motor. And to me, a Rebel is a twin. It always has been a twin. Every other Rebel's a twin. But we're faced with this 300 that's a single. And I think... I try and put myself in the shoes of Honda. And it's a valuable name, and it's a well-known name, and it's a name that's synonymous with an easy-to-ride entry-level motorcycle, and
And bulletproof.
So, yes, I'd use the name, I suppose, but I don't think it's a Rebel.
I don't think you get to make that call.
It has a familial styling cues. It's blacked out and low seat.
No, but when that bike came out, there was nothing familiar about it.
Is it a Shadow?
No, because a Shadow is a V-twin.
Okay,
It's a Shadow is a V-twin. Have you ever seen a Honda Steed? So, a Honda Steed...
I have to look it up.
is a VT600 Shadow that has just got the wildest accessory package on you can imagine. In fact, the Steed range of accessories...
Honda Steed 400.
Well, they did a range, but yeah, you can look at the 600.
Where did these go?
Home Market. Home Market.
Okay, yeah, I've never seen that. I'll be honest, it looks like a Virago.
The mild ones look like a Virago. The radical ones look like the Captain America.
Wait. Look at that front end.
It's got a Springer front end on it.
Yeah, there you go.
It's got a Springer front end.
That's just one option. You can get like a 12-inch over front end with angled yokes as well. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, here's one with standard forks. Wow.
Yeah, it's the Steed. So anyway... So right now, in 2017, Honda introduced the 300 Rebel, which may not be a Rebel, but we'll call it a Rebel. At the same time, they introduced the 500 Rebel, which is definitely a Rebel.
And I thought that was interesting because before the 250 came out and then the 450, to answer the call for people who wanted a bigger bike. But this time they're like, we're just going to bring them both out. The 300 and the 500 look identical. You got two different sizes. But they really brought it to the future. Neal, you were noting some of these options.
Right. So,
well, not option. I mean, stock.
Exactly. So some of the ease of riding features. So the 300 has a feature called the E-clutch.
Now it does, yes.
Yeah, it does now, which it shares with the new CB650 Twin, which is we talked about it before on the podcast a while back. It looks like a really non-intrusive way of doing an automatic clutch that allows for different riding styles, clutchless or clutch, without confusing the rider too much.
I'm reading on Honda's site. You can either get the 300 or the 300E clutch.
Oh, okay.
It's an either or.
Okay, so you have that option.
How cool that they put that option on there.
Let's let's explore that a little bit right now. So we'll go back to Hondas, and I've talked about this so many times on the podcast before, but I think it's such an important point. We're going to revisit it again. Honda's mantra has always been, this goes back to the days of Soichiro Honda. I do not care who you are. I do not care your skill level. I don't care whether you're a man or a woman, whether you're old or young, whether you're rich or poor. I don't care what you do. I am going to make a bike for you. And once you understand that, you understand why Honda have made some pretty fucking wacky bikes over the years.
The Fury. They still make the Fury.
And
I'm furious over that.
And
it's a furry.
On the other side of the scale, the Gyro.
Yeah.
Or the Spree.
Oh, yeah. They've made some
strange bikes.
Moto
Or the Rune.
Or the Moto Compacto.
Yes, Moto Compacto, yeah.
So.
Moto Compo.
Once... Moto Compo. So...
Moto Compost.
Yeah, right.
Oh, and Neal, I think you are right. Now now it is just the E-clutch version.
Yeah.
But before there was the 300.
Maybe.
So quickly, the 500 has a slipper clutch.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And the 1100 has the recently discussed DCT, which I actually liked. I thought it was very good.
The 500?
No, the
1100.
Yeah, the 1100.
Well,
so you can get it either way.
So what people might actually not realize. So what Honda have decided the future for Rebels. And again, I was talking about this with Liza. Mm-hmm. The way the Japanese manufacturers market vehicles is they're looking for generational ownership. And when I say generational ownership, it doesn't necessarily mean among generations of people. It means yes?
Let me jump in because I asked you the question. I thought it was strange that the Honda Rebel would become synonymous as being I'm going to say a starter bike, but a user-friendly bike.
Right.
I thought it was very interesting that they made an 1100 that is the Africa Twin motor.
And I explained that to you.
I'm like, why? That's not an entry-level bike.
Yeah, and it's over 100 horsepower.
Right.
It's fast.
Honda in the past have said to themselves, okay, we're going to take Rider A and we're going to take our American friend Rider A. American friend Rider A is going to start off on a 250 Rebel, then they're going to go through the Shadow line. And they're going to go through the VT 600, 750, 1100, blah, 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 right up to whatever, the VT 1800. But that's going to be their route. What they've done now, and this is something I think they should have done back in the 80s, they're going to say, okay, you can stick with the Rebel. You bought the Rebel, you know the Rebel. You start off with the CMX 300. A logical progression is the 500, where it's going to be very, very familiar because, you know what? It shares the same frame. It shares the same forks. It is exactly the same dimensions as the 300. It's just a few pounds heavier.
Well, the other thing too is it's an upsell option.
Right. It's a very familiar upgrade. And then guess what? When your riding skills improve, now we've got a larger Rebel for you. We've got the 1100.
And I'm just going to say, I think that the Rebel 1100T is a good-looking bike.
Well,
that's the one that wins me over. And that is the 1100 with the Batwing fairing and the hard bags. I think it is a cool-looking cruiser.
I tell you what, I spent a lot of time looking at that Rebel 1100. For those that don't know how I ended up with a Rebel 1100, is I actually traded one of my cars for it as a flipper. And so I had this thing for precisely 4 days before I sold it. And I spent quite a bit of time looking at it and making sure, because, if I'm selling a bike to somebody, I like to be knowledgeable about the bike and actually make sure that I'm selling them a good bike. And yes, this was a one-owner bike with no miles on it. So I'm like, yeah, I know it's a good bike. But I tell you what, like most cruisers, the bigger they get, the better they look. And this was a very, very nicely styled bike. I like the proportions of it. I like the wheel sizes of it. I always find that big balloon front tire on the 300 and the 500 is a little bit awkward. I understand it looks good, but the 1100's got a bigger 19-inch wheel with a slightly skinnier tire and big chunky rear wheel. Very handsome bike, and the finishes are just very exotic finishes on it. And you commented on that actually, Liza. The black chrome on the forks is very special.
Well, and the other thing that's growing on me that it's a bobber. We didn't even talk about the style.
It's a blobber.
It's a bobber. It's a straight out of the box bobber.
Yeah. It's a very modern styled bike. And I think it's important to know that Honda actually spent a great deal of time saying, look, we want something that's going to be very current, it's very appealing to a younger, more modern set, just as the original Rebel was. Let's go back to, the MTV generation. Well, MTV's over now. So, maybe
So I think going back to my original, like I said, when they first came out, I thought it was a silly little tacky bike. But looking at the lifespan and the impact on the world that the Honda Rebel had has changed my perception completely of it.
And I think it should.
So you still meet the nicest people on a Honda.
As a final note,
that's why you ride a Suzuki.
That's right. You have two Suzuki riders here.
Yeah.
Yes.
On a final note.
Yes, I'm riding a Suzuki today. As a final note, Honda always knew the importance of this bike.
Yeah.
And there was a special production line, and this is kind of urban legend, but it's absolutely true, and this is very, verifiable fact. Within the Honda factory, there was a line dedicated to Honda Rebels. And the line was almost entirely staffed by very, very long-term employees or people who were getting close to retirement and really had an enormous amount of skill working within the factory and an enormous amount of care and really wanted something that they could take pride in before they retired.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the Honda Rebel line. And they were beautifully put together. If ever you have the opportunity to see a CMX 250 limited edition, this thing has got holographic paint, it's got gold-plated parts, one-off paint job, and this is a production bike. It's a wild-looking thing. It's got like holographic flames on the tank, and that's how it came.
The other thing that's interesting is going back to the original Honda, the 250s.
Yes.
You rarely see them like ratted out or customized. They're stock. They're just
mostly
stay in that. You know what I mean?
They don't get the Bozozuku treatment.
Yeah.
The closest to a custom one I've seen was actually one of the riding schools bought it, and they bought it from Southern California and brought it back, and it had like the hot rod treatment, so it was flat black with white pinstriping on the tank in sort of like an Ed Hardy style. And it got red rims with white wall tires. So it's kind of like the real old hot rod style. And I have to say, it looked pretty meaty. So, yeah. But
that would work on that bike.
Yeah. Generally, they look pretty stock and pretty good. Yes, Bagel.
Yeah, do you know what one of the first bikes was that I ever rode? Or motorcycles, I should say, I ever rode?
Go on.
SR 500.
No, that was long before that.
Yeah.
The Rebel 250.
Hey-o.
It was one of the bikes they had in the motorcycle safety course when I took it way back in 1991, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
That and a bunch of Yamaha 175s.
And they're still there. That same bike is probably still there.
Probably still running.
Been dropped 12,000 times.
Yes, but not by me. I dropped a Yamaha.
Very nice. So, Rebels are cool, aren't they?
I think so. I mean,
they've proven themselves over the years.
There is a butt for every seat, and I would never. I mean, I'd never make fun of what somebody's writing anyway, unlike you.
But you might make fun of their butt.
Yeah, might. Unless it's got Felix tattooed on it. But nevertheless, no, Rebels are very, very cool bikes. And I think when we look at them, we look at their history, and we look at their influence on the motorcycle industry, a lot of people got a very big start on a Rebel.
And we know that the 500 Rebel can dirt. Michelle proved that to us.
Yeah. I'm going to throw something out there because I think earlier this year, I said, I think it'd be fun to get a Shadow 500 and like make it a really cool custom bike because they're worth nothing. But they're harder to find now. But you know what's not hard to find? Rebel 250s. Maybe we need to start the custom Rebel 250 club.
My appeal to anybody listening to this podcast, if you own a Rebel 250 and you're proud of it, and I don't care if it's shiny, I don't care if it's rusty and crusty, I don't care if it's stock, I don't care if it's full-on custom, I don't care where in the world you are. Send us a picture of you and your bike. I want to see it.
Okay. We have to be careful. Remember that picture somebody sent us of their wife and not much clothing that we hung on the wall for a while.
No, I thought that was very agreeable.
Well, guess what? We're not done with Rebels.
Oh, really?
It's game time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done this, since I created a game for y'all. Here's what we're just going to keep it easy. We're going to go around the room. I'll ask each of you a question. You get to try and answer it. If you do not answer it, the other two get to try and steal. This is called Rebel Jeopardy.
Hey.
Which means you must give the answer in the form of a question. Okay. Neal, we're going to start with you. Also, let me finish the question before you answer. Okay? I will give you
Alex.
5 seconds. If you can't answer it, then the other two can chime in, say your name to chime in, and see if you can answer it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. This 1955 American coming-of-age melodrama film, directed by Nicholas Ray, stars Natalie Wood, Sal Mineo, and James Dean.
What is Rebel Without a Cause?
Ding, 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 ding. Point.
I realized Sal Mineo got murdered.
Yeah.
It's wild.
All right, let's go to Bagel next.
Yes.
Bagel. This Australian actress, comedian, and producer is known for her roles in movies such as Jojo Rabbit, Bridesmaids, and the Pitch Perfect series.
I don't really see a lot of movies.
This is Emma. That's
Australian actress.
In the form of a question.
Who is?
I'm just thinking.
Come on, Bagel, please.
And Emma for the steal. Go ahead.
Who is Rebel Wilson?
That is correct. Ding, 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 ding.
I tell you what, she has got some pipes on her. Oh my God, that gal can sing.
Well, that puts Emma potentially in the lead right now because now it's Emma's turn. She can get points.
I'll get it wrong. I'll fumble.
This rebel is a patron saint of France, honored as a defender of the French nation for her role in the siege of Orleans and her insistence on the coronation of Charles VII of France during the 100 Years' War.
Who is Joan of Arc?
That is correct. Ding, ding, ding. She's a rebel.
She's a rebel and she's
okay.
looking
That's
good.
1 point for Neal, 2 points for Emma.
That's understood.
Neal. This rebel was an Argentine Marxist revolutionary, physician, author, guerrilla leader, diplomat, politician, and military theorist.
Who is Che Guevara?
Ding, ding, ding. Correct. All right, Bagel.
Part commie,
You need to get this if you want to stay in the game. It's currently 2-2. All right, Bagel. This 1983 song by the English rock singer Billy Idol is the title track of his second studio album.
What is Rebel Yell?
Ding, 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 ding. Point to Bagel.
All right, mate. I've been dancing with
All right.
myself.
All right.
With a rebel, yeah.
All right, Emma.
Hello.
This rebel was an American civil rights activist who was best known for her 1955 refusal to move from her seat on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama.
Who is Rosa Parks?
Correct. Ding, ding, ding. Good job, Emma. That is 3 points to Emma.
Emma, 3 points.
2 to Neal, 1 to Bagel.
2 points. Seulement
All right.
1 point. Imbécile.
Neal. This organization is portrayed as a stateless coalition of rebel dissidents and defectors who oppose the Galactic Empire and its authoritarian rule. It is the main protagonistic faction of the original Star Wars trilogy.
Who are the Rebel Alliance?
Ding, ding, ding. That is correct. Okay. Bagel, since you are now out of the running, we've got one question left. So this one is going to be a tiebreaker between Emma and Neal, who both have 3 points. I am going to read this. You have to wait until the end of the question, and you will ring in by saying your name. Are you two ready?
I think
I was born ready.
This now defunct car company produced the mid-size car known as the Rebel from 1967 until 1970. Other notable models would be the Gremlin, Pacer, and Eagle.
This is Emma.
This is Neal.
Emma,
Oh,
go
you
ahead.
beat me.
What is a Rambler?
That is incorrect.
Wrong. What
Neal.
is American Motors.
Oh, AMC?
That is correct. AMC, the manufacturer
Ah,
of the Rebel
okay.
car.
Yeah.
That means, Neal, you're our winner tonight. Congratulations.
I'm a wiener.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Isn't that fun? Rebel
Lots of-
Jeopardy.
Yeah, they changed name from Rambler to AMC, I think in about 1964.
Well, Rambler was the model, wasn't it?
No, Rambler was a car company. It was Nash Rambler.
Yeah, Nash became AMC.
That's right.
Yeah, and then I think they
right.
rebranded in about 64.
Pass that to
Oh,
Emma.
I thought you were giving me a whoopee cushion.
No, I'm passing out things
Oh, I say.
Good neat.
No, this is awfully nice.
for our next topic.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is another thing that I think, much like the Honda Rebel, which is often overlooked and people don't realize how cool it is, I wanted to talk about something else that I think is pretty cool that most people just take for granted and don't realize. What I've handed out to everyone are pieces of armor from gear. And these are specifically D30 armor.
AKA magic cheese.
What?
Magic cheese. It's orange, right?
Okay. I wanted to talk about this for a bit because I find it quite fascinating. Now, for all of us here, we've been riding quite a long time. And you may recall, I don't know about all of you, but at least some of the early gear that I bought had no armor in it. The
Right.
gear we bought was made either to just keep you warm and dry, or if it was leather or some of the newer products, it was really for the slide, for
Right.
abrasion. But nothing was made for impact.
And I think that that's very important to differentiate between the two, because for the longest time, leather was considered the number one thing for motorcycling. But impact, where you actually get thrown onto the road or thrown down or hit a car, is a very, very different animal to actually finding yourself on the deck and sliding along.
Especially if you high side.
So then as they started adding armor, often what you got was something like this,
So
Like a piece of
which
foam, basically.
is foam.
yeah, it's like a high density polyethylene foam.
And it has all these kind of striations and cuts in it to make it flexible to contour, because armor needs to be ready for impact, but it also needs to be comfortable and to flex with the body. So
kind of like an armadillo.
yeah. So you get this foam. How good is that for impact?
I think this would be poor in terms of being able to dissipate the energy over a wider area.
I'm sure it's better than nothing, but marginally.
Yeah, exactly. Marginally.
Yeah. And even though this is CE rated, according to these,
a different standard.
Yeah, the foam was used to give you some extra padding, but
Actually, this is quite dense.
But it wasn't much more than like the knee pads I wore in volleyball, you know?
Yep.
So then what they made for things like being on the track for higher risk stuff, very hard, rigid protection, armor that had no flex, so it wasn't very comfortable. And that's why you see the racers with their arms out in these bent positions and their knees and their butt, because they were formed into that shape and there wasn't a lot of movement.
I always thought that's because they were very macho and they just pooped themselves.
They're just showing off.
That's also why their suits kind of look like Power Rangers, because they have to add flex points in the suits for that, and it's the same as, interestingly enough.
So,
Power Ranger.
I got to bring in my notes. I think it was 95. These gentlemen in England. 1999. Thank you. Came up with this product that they refer to as D30.
Not D30.
Sorry.
D30.
D30.
Letter
yes,
O.
Like C3PO.
Yes.
And they created this material that is a non-Newtonian. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
No. Well, yes. Well, it is a non-Newtonian fluid.
Non-Newtonian fluid.
Mm-hmm.
Bagel, can you tell everyone what that means?
Okay. Well, let's talk about who this was. This was a British engineer by the name of Richard Palmer. And D30 was named after the lab where it was discovered. And it's sometimes called super goo, and it is always bright orange. So what this is, it is a non-Newtonian fluid, which comes from our very old friend, Sir Isaac Newton, the physicist from back in the day, who studied lots of properties of physical materials that and wrote about them and explained things in a way that people hadn't really understood the world before. And one of the things that he focused on was fluids, and specifically the viscosity of fluids. And viscosity is the ability of a fluid to move through space. So if you have a fluid that is very thick, it will have a very high viscosity, which means it will flow slowly through a tube or a channel or whatever.
An example, like oil?
Oil can be somewhat thick, or it can be very thin. It can be very high viscosity or low viscosity.
Or Los Angeles traffic.
Right.
So,
yes, if traffic is very much follows the properties of fluid dynamics.
So, if next door's dog is very bad-tempered, can you say it's got a high viscosity as well, especially if you poke it with a stick?
Viscous.
Well, that's vicious.
Okay, carry on, Bagel.
I don't think that dog will flow very well.
Flows very well when it tries to bite my arse.
Oh, well, yes, it can move quickly.
But carry on, you're doing a smash-up job.
Yes. So Newtonian fluids, though, specifically, just to define that first, that is probably the more common way that we think of fluids, and the common characteristic that he found for what we call Newtonian fluids is that when the temperature increases, the viscosity decreases.
And that's quite normal.
Right. Think of motor oil. When it's very cold, it's very thick, it's very stiff. Your engine doesn't want to turn as easily. It takes a minute for it to warm up so your engine can rev well and properly. And when it's nice and hot and you drain the oil, it flows out really fast, as opposed to if you drained it when it's cold, and it would kind of flow out much slower and take a long time to drip out.
Can we take a tiny, very quick diversion and talk about engine oils and what the numbers mean, because it's a perfect intersection. A multi-grade motor oil, say 1040, oil that we all know and love for our bikes, it has the property when it is cold, the Newtonian viscosity of a 10-weight oil, which is very thin. However, when it gets hot, it has the Newtonian viscosity of a 40-weight oil, a thicker oil when it's hot. And although it certainly doesn't come out goopy and thin when it's cold, you need to understand the difference between hot and cold. So anyway, carry on.
Yep. And this is just basically a way of thinking about measuring the viscosity of that oil. That's how a lot of fluids will perform, including water as well. If it's very, very hot, it flows faster than if it's cold. So that's the vast majority of fluids. But there are other fluids that will do strange things, that will not behave that way. That, for example, will become more viscous as it gets colder. More viscous as it gets hotter, and less viscous as it gets colder. Also, one of the properties that he studied for Newtonian fluids was its resistance to I guess part of the viscosity is its resistance to motion. So if something was trying to move through the fluid at a low temperature, would have much more resistance trying to move through it, versus if the liquid is warm, and it would be able to move through it much more quickly and easily. Now, the non-Newtonian fluids that we're talking about today are fluids that do not work that way. Actually, I should preface that by saying, regardless of temperature, if you apply more force to an object moving through a fluid, it will move faster. If you provide less force on the object moving through the fluid, it will move slower.
Another way of saying that is something of a certain viscosity will offer a certain resistance to motion.
Exactly.
And it will be, the resistance will be will increase with the speed of the thing that's moving.
And what that means for armor, that means that this can be flexible and soft and pliable until impact.
Exactly.
Where it will then become harder.
Yeah. So the property of a non-Newtonian, in this case solid, is that it gets thicker and stiffer under high stress.
Hang on. We're not talking about solids. We are talking about fluids here. Okay. So what happens? Like I said, in most cases, the more force will cause it to move faster. There will be more resistance, but it can move faster through that medium. Now, there are Newtonian fluids where the more force that you apply, the resistance increases exponentially. It increases much faster.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you move an object,
the relationship between that resistance and the speed of the airspeed velocity, I'm later in swallow.
Okay, this is like two nerds talking. Come on, bring it back.
Okay, so normally with a normal fluid, a Newtonian fluid, it behaves such that when you move something through it, the faster it goes, the resistance that it offers back to that is linear.
Right. And let me actually
twice as
fast. Hold on. Both of you stop.
This a little bit.
Both of you stop.
Liza, no, let me continue, because I have a scientist here who has better words for this than we do.
Okay.
This is from the American Chemical Society. A guy by the name of Brian Rohrig put this infographic together. And here's what he says. That Newton discovered that the viscosity of most fluids is only affected by temperature. Viscosity is the quantity that describes a fluid's resistance to flow. A fluid with high viscosity resists motion, while a fluid with low viscosity flows easily, like we discussed. More viscous substances, such as syrup and honey, take longer to pour than less viscous substances, such as water. Be careful not to confuse viscosity with density. Now, what Newton observed is that if a substance is heated, it will become less viscous, and if cooled, more viscous. And this applies to water, oil, pancake syrup, things like that. But there are some fluids that are known as shear thickening fluids. Now, this is let me find it. Okay, so pardon me, shear thickening fluids. It's a mouthful. Okay, so this is what do you write here? It's the viscosity of some fluids is affected by factors other than temperature. These fluids are termed non-Newtonian fluids. So the viscosity of a non-Newtonian fluid will change due to agitation or pressure at the same temperature. And this is technically known as shear stress. A shear stress will not affect the viscosity of a Newtonian fluid. So shear stress is not an issue with water or oil, but for D3O and certain other types of fluids, there is a certain amount of shear stress will increase the viscosity very rapidly.
Right. So there's a science experiment that kids can do. They can make a substance called oobleck.
Yes.
Which is, I guess you take like flour and...
No, you take cornstarch.
Cornstarch, exactly.
And mix it with water. There's a certain ratio you need to get.
Yeah. And so it's thin when you put your hand in it, but if you slap it, it stiffens up.
It's hard. Immediately,
it becomes hard.
Yes. And this is how I first heard about non-Newtonian fluids. Okay. What's going on here is that non-Newtonian fluids are polymers. A polymer is composed of long chains of repeated units. We're talking about molecules now. A polymer is composed of long chains of repeated units known as monomers that are strung together to yield giant macromolecules. So think of very long strings, right, at a molecular level. And the most common synthetic polymers are plastics, rubber, and fabrics such as polyester and spandex.
That's my entire wardrobe, rubber, plastic, and spandex. That's all I wear, darling.
This is right up your alley, Emma.
Hey, Bagel.
Yes.
I don't mean to cut you off, but you guys have geeked out far too long about non-Newtonian fluids, and I want to bring it back to specifically to the D3O armor.
Yes.
Because it was it's a game changer.
Yes, it
for
is.
Safety equipment.
Right, and D3O is a type of a shear thickening fluid. Mm-hmm. What this is, it's composed of a polymer substance, like we talked about, these long chain molecules, suspended in an oily type liquid lubricant. So inside these armor pads, these D3O armor pads, there is an oily fluid that is full of these long polymer molecules. And this mixture is classified as a colloid, which is a mixture in which the dispersed substance is permanently suspended in the dispersing medium.
So science is happening.
Yes.
Now, I wanted to. Wait, you have to finish up some?
Yeah, I want to just speak to this a little bit more about how this works. So when a stress is applied slowly, as we mentioned before, to the shear thickening fluid,
if it's just being bent
while
you're moving,
yes,
or just pushing it, just gently, gently and firmly, the polymer chains in this medium have time to move out of the way and rearrange themselves. Mm-hmm. So that the viscosity of the fluid is not affected. But if a quick
it's still
stress...
pliable, it bends easily.
Yeah, right. But if a quick stress is applied, the polymer chains do not have time to rearrange, and instead they become entangled, assuming a solid-like consistency as the viscosity greatly increases. So you can kind of think of it like these little molecules are turning into a net inside this fluid. If you hit it hard, they lock together and keep the force from going through that pad.
So if you have something that just bends when you hit it, it's going to transmit that force. If you take an impact hit to, say, your elbow with an elbow pad, the force is going to go straight through to your elbow.
All right.
Right? With this technology, what will happen is the pad will stiffen up immediately on impact, and it will spread the force over a wider area. So it's not going to be transmitted just to your elbow, but it's going to be spread out over a wider area. So your elbow isn't going to get banged up as badly.
It goes from being the foam pad we had for comfort to being that rigid pad that race suits had. It's all in one. So I've handed this out in
both worlds.
What I wanted to do real quick is I want to talk a little bit more about the uses, but also the different types and how to tell what kind you have, because it's not all the same. So yeah, we have it in our jackets, we have it in our pants, but you'll see them in boots. And you'll see them even in gloves. You'll see that D30 label on there.
I got D30 in my pants.
Yes, you do. You'll see them as knuckle protection, or even in the palms.
Yeah.
But there's different types. So if you each pick up one of the pieces that you have, and Bagel, I don't know if you have any armor available you can grab. I wanted to tell you, every single one of these has a stamp on it. And you'll see that it's CE rated. And CE is referring to, it's actually a European standard of safety.
It translates to Community of Europe.
It's one of the highest standards. So you'll see that it's CE rated. That's good. And then you have this little box that has a lot of different numbers or figures. So that comes in, you can get it in level 1 or level 2. Do you guys see in yours what level you're holding?
Okay, so I got 2 level 1s here.
You got 2 level 1s? I thought I handed you a level 2, no?
Well, we've been passing these around.
Oh, you've been passing around. Emma, what level do you have there?
The back protector is indeed level 1.
Okay.
Elbows are level 1. Hang on, I'm going to see if I can find a level 2. I have...
No, that's foam right there.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you the difference. So this is, I want people to take out, if they want to look at the armor they have, because you can upgrade it. So know what kind of armor you have, what the difference is. So level 1 is suitable for most types of riding. It can be used by urban, commuter, and touring motorcyclists, offering them a great level of all-around protection. Level 2 is best suited to bikers racing on tracks, riding more extreme off-road or stunt riding. Level 2 can provide up to 50% more impact protection than level 1. I thought I handed out, so is this a level 2 or level 1? I thought. Anyway, so there's 2 different types. So it's good to check.
So this is a Chinesium level 1. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. Well, so, and then they've got different levels. You have, so in these boxes, another one of the boxes, sometimes it'll tell you, this one doesn't have it, what part of the body it goes on.
Yeah.
So sometimes it'll like an S for shoulder or B for back.
Yep, mine has little B for back.
Little
and
B
it's got
for
a picture
back.
of a little guy with an arrow pointing to where the armor goes, and then there's a little stick figure on a bike, it looks like.
Yep.
With the number 1 next to the box, so I'm guessing that's level 1.
Yep, exactly, level 1.
Yep.
And then now I can't find here.
Mine says FB, which is front back. So it goes on your front back.
Your front back.
As opposed to your back, which is something quite different.
So then you also have AAA classification. So what does that mean? So it's AAA-A garment classification is important to check and understand so you make sure you're getting the correct level of protection. This is about different certifications. The highest class possible is AAA and is suitable for track racing. It's required, it's mandatory in AAA garments to have AAA padding, the protection. You have AA, which is best for touring and long distance riding. And then you have A, which is suitable for urban riding, commuting, and weekend cruising. So things like bike jeans will have A. So again, whatever type of riding you're doing, you need to check that armor because you can upgrade and you may want to upgrade. There's also the T. Someone will have a T minus or a T plus. And I'm going to be honest, The document I printed doesn't state what that is, and I can't remember. But you know what? That's okay.
I have a sample of each here. These appear to be knee pads. One is a T- and one is a T+.
So I think I've figured this out. What it means is if you put on this garment, you'll be drinking one less cup of tea. If you have a T+, you'll be drinking one more cup of tea.
Yes.
Thank you. Here's where I'm going to plug the WRWR app.
Yes?
No, really. Again, this app is free to anyone, men or women. Anyone can use the app. And I've mentioned we have challenges in the app. And these challenges are to make you a better rider. And they can encourage you to go out of your comfort zone, try different things. But some of them are about education and learning more about things. And one of the challenges is actually about D3O armor, and it shows you a video that explains everything. It's a nice little challenge. And so our partner Moto Girl has created a video that explains the D3O armor and how to read all the codes and understand what the T- and the T+ and all that stuff. So if anyone's interested, you can get the WRWR app for free and check out the challenges. And you're going to look for let's see, it is the Love Your Limbs Challenge.
Righty-o.
But because of this challenge, I learned more about the D3O armor, and I thought that was very interesting. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, it's one of those things that we tend to take armor for granted. It's difficult to realize. I mean, D3O has been around now for 27 years. It's the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's same here. And it's a great technology. So one of the pads that Liza handed me had a CE mark, but it's not a real CE mark.
Yeah, you also have to look for that.
There's subtle differences. The C and the E are too close together, and the E has too long of that. And there's actually a lot of stuff that comes out of China that has this pseudo CE mark, and they jokingly call it China export, as opposed to the official Communauté Européenne body of standards, which are highly regulated and very high quality. The stuff coming from China isn't that. So another reason to go and look in your garment and see what's in there. What kind of markings do these have, and are they the real deal, or is it this pseudo mark?
Yeah. Again, it's worth looking into. It's worth taking out your armor, seeing what you have. And a lot of the jackets like we have in the free gear room have this really subpar, some of the old armor that's outdated. So we collect armor. When we got a bunch of gear from our friends up at Icon, they gave us a bunch of armor too. So I've been replacing stuff out. But it's worth looking into and making sure you have the right kind of armor and possibly upgrading.
Another great reason to get your gear here, because Liza's looking out for you.
Thank you. Emma, we got a little package from our friend Stephanie.
Oh, Stephanie.
He's like, do you want that for your garage? I don't have anywhere to put it.
You do, Liza.
Well, do you want to read?
Yes,
read that?
you do. Dear Liza, I was cleaning some old stuff out of our garage and found this Evel Knievel poster. It has been at the bottom of a box of junk for the last 23 years. So I don't think that anybody else in the family remembers it. But I thought you might enjoy it if you don't already have one. She doesn't.
And it's what I love. It's like all folded up, slightly torn. Like it's an old poster somebody just had kicking around, but it's survived. Sorry
about the condition, but that's how I find it. Stephanie from Pennsylvania. Stephanie, this is great. And you know what? I actually think the condition adds to it because it's an old subject. It's an old poster. It's a great picture.
You should put it up because I know for a fact I gave you a AliExpress Evel Knievel poster that faded to white, sitting that you still have up. You need to put this in its place.
Well, I will, but it's going to have to stay here because I can't. Well, I suppose I could put it in my backpack. I don't want to fold it anymore. Yeah, go
but what
on.
A cool, just old classic.
No, it's lovely. Stephanie.
Thank you, Stephanie.
It's going to come and live with me in Mototown. Thank you, Stephanie.
I have an announcement from our dear friend Craigzilla.
Oh.
He says, "Hey, Misfits, riding season is here. After a great run at Jawbone Canyon with Naked Jim and the Desert Rats, I got back to motorcycle stuff. In addition to our 2 new locations, he keeps opening more schools that are in Cloverdale and Eureka. I want to let you all know we just locked in our 6th annual Endless Summer Motorcycle Training event at Laguna Seca.
This is a great event.
Nice.
Yeah, from July 30th to August 2nd. For our biggest event of the year, we will feature our entire suite of classes from beginner to advanced level 2. So they do this every year, usually during the Moto America, up in the in the parking lot where they're doing the classes, which is a great opportunity to be at Laguna Seca when all this stuff's going on and take some cool advanced rider classes. So he says, we are also super pumped to offer our inaugural advanced riding clinic at the track. We just signed the contract with Sonoma Raceway and we'll be hosting an amazing event on the short track. The track clinic includes classroom instruction and track riding.
Nice.
That's really cool. He threw some discount codes together for Misfits and Friends of the Garage and the Motorcycles and Misfits listeners. Please feel free to share the promo code for everyone. And please reach out if you have any questions, and hopefully we'll see you all for some motorcycle training this season. So listen up. If you would like to attend one of the Craigzilla's classes, you go to Pacific Motorcycle Training. There's the event at Laguna Seca, and then there's the event at Sonoma Raceway. The promo code for Friends of the Garage and listeners is Moto10. That'll get you 10% off.
Nice.
Ooh.
Cool thing. And Sonoma Raceway, that's a fun track
Sonoma's
too.
great.
And Craig is a wonderful human being.
It's got the carousel.
The carousel.
The carousel. Bagel, you have an email, and then we'll end with you. Emma, you have one more.
Okay. I have an email from Roy Hanks.
Hey, Roy.
Roy writes, "Hello, Liza. I heard you talking about the need for more recycled garages, and I agree.
Ooh.
The problems seem to be finding space, theft of tools, and sponsors willing to assume risk. In a somewhat parallel universe, recently I was asked to volunteer at something called the Astoria Repair Cafe, which I knew nothing about and assumed it was just a local thing. It turns out that the first repair cafe was started in Amsterdam in 2009, and there are now more than 3,800 chapters worldwide, including one in Santa Cruz.
What?
Wow.
Has anyone here heard of this?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have. Ours is once a month and has been hosted in several locations, including a brewery, industrial space, and presently at a shop that makes leather goods and apparel. The volunteers all bring their own tools and supplies. We typically have a bicycle repair, electronics, mechanical, knife and tool sharpening, jewelry repair, hand sewing, and machine sewing stations set up. Since it is all volunteer, sometimes not all of those stations are available. The customers bring in everything imaginable, and we do our best to help them. And if we can't, then we'll guide them to a commercial entity that can. Most of the customers are curious to see what makes their prized item tick, and we encourage that with their safety always in mind. If curious to see how it works, check out www.repaircafe.org. And there is a link here to the local chapter in Santa Cruz as well. Here's Roy Hanks.
How cool is that?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Awesome.
Wait,
great.
so 3,800 chapters worldwide. These are volunteers who come together to help people fix anything.
I am reminded of that lovely British show, The Repair Shop.
Yeah.
Liza,
where people bring their beloved heirlooms to get repaired and everything, and they go through the process. No, that is absolutely fantastic. We need more of this because the answer to a less disposable society, not tariffs and not anything like this, it is learning to repair the products you have.
Absolutely.
And having the skills to repair the products you have, not just motorbikes. You know, repair your front door lock, repair your refrigerator, doors hanging off your fridge. Might just be a couple of screws.
Toaster.
Yeah.
Simple thing.
If your cat is malfunctioning, learn how to repair your cat.
What'd you say, Bagel?
Well, I was going to say, you have a whole bunch of toasters you could take down to get them working.
I know. Just a few hundred. What a cool thing. Thank you very much, Roy, for sharing it. Now, this last one, Emma's going to read. I think this is for anyone.
I suspect it is, but unfortunately, Kelly hasn't included where he is.
No, but if you email me, I'll share his email.
Okay. As far as I'm concerned, this is open season, and it's a very, very generous offer. And I'm kind of reading between the lines here. I think this is a very heartfelt appeal from Kelly. So it's from Kelly Walsh.
Hey, Kelly.
I have a 1996 Kawasaki Vulcan Classic 1500. I rode it over here around 1.5 years ago, and it's now dying a slow death because of the salt air. I cannot get the gas cap open or turn the ignition on most days. My landlord wants it gone, so I'm willing to give it to somebody who will love her as much as I do. Oh, God, Kelly, that is so heartbreaking, darling. But free bike, and a free bike that may be a little down at heel, but has been loved. And let me tell you something about Vulcan 1500s. They're killer bikes.
Yeah.
They're big, they're heavy, they're noisy.
They were competing with the largest Harley Davidsons at the time.
Right, and they do a great job.
My brother-in-law has one, and he loves it.
There's a lot to love. Yeah, there's a lot to love. Kawasaki Vulcan 300, a free Vulcan 500, no less.
15.
You
said 1500, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a tank for one of those in the garage.
Oh, blue and white. Yes.
Yeah.
So, if you have a mind to get a Vulcan 1500 and you don't want to pay for it, reach out to us, and hopefully you are in, is Kelly even in this country?
I'm not sure where Kelly is. I'm assuming they're local.
One would think.
I'm assuming they're in the Bay Area.
Kelly is close to the ocean because there is salt air involved.
Yeah. So
unless he lives by a Russian salt mine.
I guess so. Emma, how can people reach us to get Kelly's number or to ask us any question at all?
I have no fucking idea. Ask out there in the
caught you off guard, didn't I?
Smoke signals. I don't know. It's motorcyclesandmisfits
at gmail.com.
There you are.
There you go. What question would you like people to send us this week?
Well, I want pictures of you with your Honda Rebel.
Okay.
And I want you to just tell me your favorite memory involving a motorbike. And it might be with your mum, it might be with your dad, it might be with your crazy drunkle, or it might be something that just happened last week. Because motorbikes are just inanimate objects. They're just metal and rubber and plastic. That's all they are. But when you introduce the human element, something magical happens. And yes, we all go for those rides and we're like, oh, fucking hell, this is great, we're going fast. But we also go on those rides where we go with our friends. And maybe our friends aren't around anymore. And maybe you used to get on the back of your dad's bike, and that was your introduction to motorcycling. And, you know, Dad can't ride anymore because he's in a home and he's dribbling down his shirt.
That was my first ride when I was 1.
On Dad or Uncle?
Dad. I have that picture of me in the backpack.
Right. So
as a baby.
Yeah, if you've got if you've got an intimate memory that we'd be honored to read it if you want to share it. But just to exhibit how important these things are in my life. In my life, motorcycles are everything.
Yeah.
No motorcycle? No, it's very dull life indeed.
Well, there you go. You can, again, how do they reach us, Emma?
motorcyclesandmisfits@gmail.com.
There you go. And go to motorcyclesandmisfits.com to see the new t-shirt and get it ordered if you would like to get a pre-order in. And if you're a Patreon subscriber, because you all are the best, please make sure that you've checked your messages to get the code to get it for free. Bagel's already ordered his, haven't you, Bagel?
I have not.
Bagel! Because you're one of our Patreon supporters, so thank you, Bagel.
I ordered mine.
And there is a picture of one of my ancestors on it.
I think it's you when you were 11.
Back in the 1930s. I'm older than you think, dear.
We should just... I think it is you on the back.
Well, it might
As
be.
I'm sitting here looking at you with your cat eye glasses, I'm like, yeah, that is you. We just need to change that story and stick with it.
No, I seldom... I've been around for a long, long time.
It kind of looks like you.
Yeah. No, I've been around a long, long time. I'm like Doctor Who. I regenerate.
Exactly. So that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you, everyone. Send us your emails. Go to our website. Buy our swag.
Do everything.
Come to our rally. Send us an email. What do you want, Neal? You want them to do something?
Come to the rally.
There you go.
Eat spicy lamb vindaloo,
Right.
but don't forget to put the toilet paper in the refrigerator ahead of time.
On that note, thank you, everyone, for listening. Time to get out of here. This is Liza.
This is Neal.
Emma, darling.
Bagel.
And we are out of here.
Cool.